Hey, this is Michael Bacon from the Bacon Brothers.
This is Kevin Bacon, and you're watching Click on This.
Now, these guys have been jamming for well over 20 years, but more importantly, they've been playing for a lifetime. Unlike the Doobie Brothers and unlike the Jungle Brothers, these guys are brothers. We're going to be talking about their tour, their latest album, family history, and what's going on and off screen. So, let's go backstage, find out what they got.
God knows nothing's gonna come between the two of us. Love that woman. God knows.
What's going on, guys? Johnny Alonso for Click on This, and with me are Michael and Kevin Bacon. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing, John?
Good to see you again, yeah.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you again from Sundance, man. Last 2015. But in the house, was it very strict with education, or did you guys lean toward like music and arts?
They didn't care about the grades. Sometimes I'd bring a report card home and it would spell feed, and I would, be absent 35 times in a semester, and they'd sign it and give it to me to give back. But what they did care about was creativity and expression. So the idea was singing lessons, dancing lessons, acting, art, anything that was creative. That's what they really valued, and they were also not musicians, but had wonderful taste in music. So we were brought up here listening to wonderful music all over the place.
Sure.
Folk music, dance music, Broadway shows, classical, rock and roll, everything. And I really I tack into that source every day in my film composing that I feel was really placed in my brain at a very early age by our parents.
I was in a band that was made up of two sets of brothers. So I have a question for you when it comes to decision making, because I know in my band it was a complete pain in the ass because no one ever wanted to step down. Everybody was related. How does it work with you guys, with you guys being in the band and the other members? I mean, is it pretty much copacetic, or?
Our sort of unwritten rule is that everybody kind of defers to the songwriter. That being said, we have we are definitely open to a healthy exchange of ideas and thoughts. And, the guys in the band are incredibly opinionated when it comes to music. And sometimes that can drive you kind of crazy. But on the other hand, it really comes from a place of really caring. I mean, they really care a lot. They really care a lot. We were just listening to two old recordings that we played on, and I was watching them go, oh God, I can't believe I played this. Oh, I wish I'd never played that. And it's like it's so done, you know what I mean? But it's like they really they have a lot of passion for music, and they also have a tremendous amount of musical knowledge between the four of them.
I mean, growing up as guys from Philly, did you realize how much of an awesome city you had of musical knowledge and wealth? I mean, and did you pull from any of the bands that played there, and were you inspired by any writers and musicians from Philadelphia?
The enormous amount of diversity. For me, I played a lot of classical music. I was exposed to a lot. Philadelphia Folk Festival was huge for me, and of course the rock and roll. All the Frankie Avalon, all those kind of people were always kind of down the street sort of feeling.
So you guys are on tour. I think you have about 8 more dates left on this leg. How's it going?
You never know when you put these shows together. They come in a lot earlier than the acting stuff does. So it's always kind of terrifying that we're going to book a bunch of stuff and then I'm not going to be available, or Mike's not going to be available. Everything is worked out. We had a really nice run for about probably 3.5 weeks earlier in the summer, all through the South. Played some places that we'd never played before, which is always good, to come into a new place. And we also have started writing, which is good. Both of us are doing some writing and also exploring some old songs and trying to switch the setup. And yeah, it's been good.
It's been good, huh?
Yeah.
She looks like she's ready to roll. Mile after mile after mile after mile after mile after mile after mile. I got a good woman.
Can you tell us a little bit about the the creative process of writing your music?
When we first started the band, which is now, they tell us, 23 years ago, Kevin really didn't have much technical experience in creating music, producing music. Guitar playing, recording studio. I had a recording studio. We did everything in my studio. But if you switch back to today, Kevin has his own studio. He can play all his own instruments and do his own production. So he doesn't need me as much as he did originally. So most of our writing is done separately. And the process is first you write the song and you decide it's okay. Then we play it for our respective wives. And that is kind of one of the most daunting parts of it. And then, or play it for each other first. I mean,
Right, right. Tell us a little bit more about, I guess, a message you guys want to convey, if any, in your music. Is there anything that you try to get out to the public?
Most of the things are what we feel about ourselves, and if you can turn that into something universal, where someone will say or will feel a connection to that to me is what a successful song is.
So we got a couple questions from fans that sent on some email here to Click on the Studios, and this one's from Deb Kalkohan. She said, "What music do you all listen to when you guys are driving alone, and do you sing along to whatever song is on the radio or CD?"
I do. I don't sing as much as my wife does. She sings a lot.
Yeah.
And as a result, she can really find harmonies a lot better than I can. But sometimes I'll be driving and I'll just hear her just go off. And that's, it's always that moment where you kind of go, I really would like to hear this song just for 1 second. We have satellite radio, and so the stuff that I listen to is really like all over the map, and that's one of the cool things about satellite. This one station I really love right now is the vintage hip hop station.
Sure.
It's called.
That's it.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that. And then I'll go to Coffee House, which is just like folky kind of.
Go to the Beatles station.
And then the Beatles station. Yeah, I love jumping around to that kind of.
And I listen to country music. I don't know what it is, but when I'm away from home and away from work, that's what I like to listen to. Yeah, it does.
That's awesome. And even had a no food jokes tour at one point, right? But Kevin said he was more. And he dislikes more his name Kevin because of the way Kevin characters have been portrayed in films. Did he really mean that? Guy named Kevin. This is from Kevin Kohler.
We've talked a lot about how the name Bacon is kind of a nightmare as a last name because you suffer a lifetime of food jokes. Your whole life someone's going, "Hey, eggs, or whatever, sizzling. Whenever we do an interview in a town, if a local paper, it almost inevitably says the Bacon Brothers will sizzle this thing, and then you think to yourselves, do you really think that you're the first people to use that?
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. I don't like the name Kevin. I've never really liked it. I like Kev. I think it's got a nice sound, but Kevin to me is like, it's like, it just sounds like a jerk. It's like a name, and if you look traditionally in a lot of films and television, they'll name the asshole character Kevin. Our mother, she did okay with Michael, but she was not. There were 6 of us, and they weren't so good with the name choosing. No.
So you've done some scoring for music and for film and television, right? Oh, you won an Emmy for the Kennedys. Yeah, congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Do you have any plans of doing any more scoring?
Yeah, I'm always really busy with that. And I also teach film scoring at 2 different colleges in New York City. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing when I'm not with the band.
Right on, right on. And Kevin, you've done a little acting. Yeah, you got anything in the works? What's going on, man?
Hoping to get off the ground next is a pilot for Tremors as a series. It was a movie that I did, kind of a horror movie in the 80s. And I've been developing it for a while to expand it as a 10-episode series, and I think we're starting to get a little closer to that. We're going to do a pilot for Sci-Fi, and we'll see how that goes.
Sweet. Kira, she's directing a film with your daughter.
Yeah, she directed a film called Story of a Girl, which was on Lifetime, the Lifetime Network last week. And they're going to keep keep showing it. And it was her first directing gig. She did a great job. I'm in the movie.
Nice.
I was able to wangle a part for myself, and my daughter's in it.
Nice.
And my son Travis scored the movie.
Check it out.
So he's a heavy metal musician, and the score is not metal, but he wanted to sort of follow in his uncle's footsteps and sort of try to write cues for movies and television. And so it was a real just rampant nepotism, but she did a great job, Kira, and it's a beautiful movie.
Any social media you want to put out where we can find your music? And
I'm michaelbaconmusic.com. The Bacon Brothers are baconbros.com, and we got a bunch of stuff, new stuff on YouTube that I think is really cool. So check us out. Yeah.
Sweet, definitely. And last but not least, yes, remember when we interviewed you in 2015 for a cop car, right? Isn't that, yeah. That was fun, man. No, you were cool then to me, man. You're cool today, man. So I thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And this just in, we got a few special shout-outs here with the Bacon Brothers. We have special shout-outs too. Julia Martena, Jamie Creeker, Deb Calquan, Jamie Creeker again. We got Kevin Kohler, and we also have Ira Siegel, Kim Crosby, Ann Bacon Duffy, and Linda Van Borst Jansen. Thank you so much, guys. And listen, more emails to come. Bring them out to click on this at clickonthisshow.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.